This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here, and we've got a lot of stories today. Happy Saturday to you. But the one I need to get to first is something that's actually coming out of Ukraine, and it is pretty big. It's important. Maybe you guys remember the campaign that I was running for Cars for Ukraine. This is a NGO, non-government organization, that has been collecting money to provide these trucks for Ukraine and their army. And we did the thing in December, I believe a little bit in November, and afterwards, where we were collecting money to get them a car and to buy as many of these trucks and repairs as we can. We got some news back from that, and I want you to see it here.
So the first car of this deployment is a classical van, Volkswagen Transporter, and it's a special van because this is the last car of our Christmas tree trucks campaign. Finally,
yeah.
woohoo!
We didn't reach summer yet, so it's good we managed to get the last truck to the Christmas tree campaign.
Yeah, and it was fundraised by joint efforts by three fundraisers. It was Silicon Curtain channel, it was
Easter Border and Political Drain.
Political Drain, yeah.
Basically, I think Jonathan from Silicon Curtain, he raised a bit more than he was supposed to, and then Easter Border as well, and Political Drain also had some effort. So basically, someone has managed to get a bit more than expected. Someone got a little bit, and all together, you know, it all matters, and we've got this this van.
Yeah, and it will support the 2nd Army Corps, namely 13th Brigade Khartia, which is quite famous in Ukraine, and we are happy to support them with this van.
Yeah, basically the guys are dealing with some reconnaissance, and they also need to sort of move a lot of equipment, so this van will be a beautiful one. This one is, as you see, it has nothing on the back, so it's a cargo van, but it's a 4x4. So if it needs to go to some tough areas, it will make it. So Silicon Curtain, Jonathan, Easter Border, and Political Drain.
Thank you.
Awesome. Christmas tree finally officially done.
Fake news, everybody. Everyone knows that we had the biggest donations in the history of Car for Ukraine establishment. Everyone knows that. I don't know who this failing Silicon Curtain Jonathan that they call him. What is his name? What kind of name is Jonathan? Silicon Curtain. Everyone knows we have the greatest donations in the history of Car for Ukraine. We deserve a bigger prize for... Okay. I'm just kidding. The truth is, it makes me feel good. Really good. To know that there was anything I could do to help out what's going on over there. And knowing that I could not do any of that without you, because all of it was you. That's where the money came from. That's where the donations came from. I just put it on this platform and you did it. Especially in the light of what happened when Prince Harry went over there, I believe, maybe 1 or 2 days ago. And he gave some sort of a war briefing and it just crushed Trump. Our tangerine tornado in chief cannot take it. He bristles. What I'm going to do, we're going to read from The Guardian, and then we're going to watch some of this so you can see what it really means to have an idiot in charge like this. This is so embarrassing. Trump bristles at Prince Harry's passionate plea for Ukraine. The Duke of Sussex says U.S. must honor obligations as it persuaded Ukraine to give up nuclear weapons. U.S. President retorts that Harry doesn't speak for Britain. What do you say to that? The man. He is mentally he is insane. He is on a constant sundowning. This man. Let's read some more, shall we? Donald Trump says that the Duke of Essex is not speaking for the UK. after Prince Harry told the U.S. to honor its obligations to the Ukraine conflict.
President Putin, no nation benefits from the continued loss of life we are witnessing. There is still a moment now to stop this war, to prevent further suffering for Ukrainians and Russians alike, and to choose a different course. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not collateral damage. This is not the chaos of war spilling over. This is organized, systemic, intentional, and designed to endure long after the fighting stops. This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations, not out of charity, but out of its own enduring role in global security and strategic stability.
First, if you guys don't know, I'm going to say it again. The reason why we have traditionally been giving money to Ukraine to help them fight off the ridiculous, bloodthirsty dictator on the other side of the border, known as Vladimir Putin, is because we convinced them to give up their nuclear weapons in return for our defense of their territory. We have a treaty with Ukraine. We promised them we would take care of them, that we would fight their wars with and for them if necessary, as long as they didn't get nuclear weapons, because we didn't want the proliferation of more nukes. And they signed it in good faith. And how dumb they were, because they had no idea that America would be the type of country to vote in a carnival barker with no understanding of history, and who only cared about his own pockets to the point where he only lines his pockets and his family's pockets through the presidency, and cannot do anything else except dream about a ballroom and his name on everything that he didn't do anything for. And so let's continue on with what Trump said. I think I'm speaking for the UK. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry. You want me to say? I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry. But I appreciate his advice very much. That sentence is so bonkers. It's so bonkers. It's hard to believe. But only someone like President Dumpy Pants, the Tangerine Tornado, the 2 cans of spray tan Sam himself, the Mussolini Mar-a-Lago, the draft dodging, bone spur having idiot in chief can say something like that. It's you wouldn't have even thought of a sentence like that had he not been president. Harry, an ex-serviceman. He's a prince who never had to join. He never had to join. He joined. Then not only did he join, he had to actually climb the ranks. He did not accept being put in special places. He actually had to get deployed. He requested it. The Prince of England. No wonder someone like Trump can't understand that. He has no idea what it means to fulfill a contract. He's failed and denied and faked and crashed and torn up every one he's ever had, from the contractors in Nevada to the ones with Stormy Daniels, to the marriage vows with all 3 wives. He has claimed bone spurs to not have to go to war, while sending others and calling them suckers and losers his entire life. Of course, he doesn't even recognize who speaks for Britain. Prince Harry, he says he did not claim to be speaking for the UK. He said he was not there as a politician, but as a soldier who understands service and a humanitarian. That's why Trump got it wrong. That's why Trump didn't understand it. Not only because he can't read, Nor can he understand what little bit he could read because he is mentally disabled. Have you seen him? Have you heard him speak? Half this country is so stupid because our system of education sucks that they feel more comfortable with someone who's 80 years old but has the mental acuity of a third grader and a poorly socialized one at that. That's why he seems to think he speaks for Britain more than the Prince of England. Anyway, that's just one of the stories. But here is the third part of this story, Car for Ukraine. Man, that feels good. The reason why Prince Harry went there and gets an update from what's happening in the war there is because the EU has now approved, I believe it was, I'm just going to make sure I'm saying it right, 90 billion euros as a loan. The EU has approved this loan. And what makes this even better for all of us is understanding that the reason why they didn't get this loan in the first place a long time ago, for the people, for the war, that's for the people getting money to live and eat, and for the war as well to help fight so that Car for Ukraine has less of a reason to exist. Yes, for both, is because Viktor Orban was the one who was stopping it. Watch this.
But the picture is now quite different, isn't it? There's been this approval by the European Union of a massive multi-billion-dollar loan to Ukraine, but also Russia's progress on the battlefield seems to have stalled. What's it feeling like from where you are right at the heart of things?
I would say actually the mood in Ukraine is definitely more positive, a bit more optimistic than last time we spoke, Lucy. I mean, for a start, the power is back. You can see the lights behind me in my hotel in Kiev. So Russia's attempt to basically freeze Ukraine out in the winter failed. And meanwhile, as you say, on the battlefield, the Russians have really been making very slow progress. In fact, no progress at all practically in March, with Ukrainian forces even having some kind of tactical success in the south where they've been recapturing a few smashed up villages in the grey zone. Right. And the sort of international picture is complicated, but it's mixed. But there is good news for Ukraine as well. This loan, 90 billion euros, two-thirds of it for Ukraine's military, a third to pay salaries for the economy. It's been stalled, blocked late last year by Viktor Orban, and with a huge row between Hungary and Ukraine, which is, I mean, there are still tensions, of course, but there's a new prime minister in the shape of Peter Magyar, and it looks like this money is coming soon.
Yeah, so it's two things that have been agreed, isn't it? It's this 90 billion euro loan, as you say, which will have a very material impact on Ukraine's war efforts. But also there's a big package of sanctions against Russia. So the response from Zelensky presumably is very positive to that, given, as you say, there's been such a standoff and this block by Hungary until Viktor Orban was ousted out from power earlier this month.
I mean, I think that's right. It was extremely acrimonious. It was really almost kind of open hostility between Hungary and Ukraine, with Orban saying that he would block the loan until oil started flowing through this pipeline. It's called the Druzhba pipeline, Russian oil to Hungary and Slovakia. The Ukrainians said that Russia had bombed it. It wasn't possible. Orban said they were lying. Now it looks like the money will come to Kiev, and also the oil will flow to Budapest. So this is a breakthrough. And I mean, the other kind of quite interesting thing is a change of tone from Zelensky, because since Donald Trump came back to the White House last year, he's really done everything he can to try and please Trump to treat him like a reliable partner, an ally of Ukraine, even though, in my opinion, Trump has swapped sides and supports the Russians. I mean, we can talk about to what degree. But Zelensky's rhetoric recently has been much cooler, actually, towards Trump. And I think really there's a kind of strategic realization by everybody that the Americans are practically out. I mean, no more American weapons going directly from Washington to Kiev. And that really, supporting Ukraine is Ukraine's problem and Europe's problem.
And when Viktor Orban got booted out of Hungary, that helps the war efforts in Ukraine. And what helps the war efforts in Ukraine is bad for Putin. And what's bad for Putin is good for us. See it? You see it? It's good for us. That's why this guy is flailing. Talking about who says what for you, who speaks for the British people. Not the prince of Britain, England, but him. He's flailing. The money's going to dry up. The war's not looking too good, as you heard for yourself. It's not going the way Putin wants it to. His failure is our success. And thanks to what Hungary did, the EU has given yet another lifeline to Ukraine. It's all good all the way around, but they're not stopping. The desperate dictators do desperate things. They're going to be sending more, and I'm reading it right here, more drones into homes on purpose. They're going to be more war crimes. Putin just doesn't tweet it out like our dictator does. Putin actually follows through with it, and it's gross. It's gross. Anyway, that's this. And if you'd like to maybe get our dictator out of there who tweets things about getting rid of civilizations and who is in a downward spiral because the only person backing him up is losing a war. And the other people who weren't backing him up, but were definitely holding him up financially, the people in Qatar, UAE, and other Arab states that put their money into his failure because they thought they could all get a little piece of Palestine when it's all over with. They're now leaning on him. If you'd like to get this guy gone so we're not as compromised constantly by an incompetent cornball, I'll see you on June 28th through June 4th, 7 days in DC. The website's up. You can click on it right down there. We've got to do this. We're talking about direct action inside the offices, in the faces of the people who actually have the power to get rid of the guy, their whole regime. If you don't think that you can get rid of him, there's others who can be impeached and who can be arrested and who can be kicked out of there. If you don't think so, look at all the Republicans who have turned their back on the quack, lame duck Donald, who are losing in their elections. Don't stop thinking like you have no power. Realize that these guys will do whatever it takes to win, and they're realizing that they're losing. We can push them over the edge. More things may be necessary, but we don't talk about that on camera. But I will tell you that between June 28th through July 4th, we're in DC. You can plan for it starting now. That's why we're starting it so early. You can plan for it now. Direct action many of the days. Other days is giving training and learning how to use direct action in protest. We're going to have something very special from Sons of Liberty, of which I am one of the admins and feel very good about. That will be helping out veterans, homeless veterans. Listen, all 7 days in DC, we're doing it. We need you to show up. Click down there at that website. The time to fight is now. Also, direct action means maybe you need to be throwing some dildos. I didn't say throwing, I'm sorry. Holding, playing. The dildo distribution people. Yeah. You haven't seen them? Go to closertotheedge.com. I'm going to put the link in there that shows you the whole thing that they're doing. It's amazing. But they're using these, and they've got thousands of them now because they realize that they're so effective at warding off these ICE agents at Whipple in Minneapolis. And now around the nation, they're giving these away to people. They're passing them out because that absurdity in the face of this toxic masculinity seems to be the one thing that gets these ICE agents to back off. It actually works. So I want to help them get those donations for the thousands that they've bought. Also, the thousands were donated to them as well. But for the ones that they bought, they need to get that money back, and they need to keep this going because it's working. If nothing else, just to piss off those ICE agents. Email me, politicaldrain@proton.me. politicaldrain@proton.me. You email me, say, I want to donate, and I will give you the instructions on how to do so, because the time to fight is now. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind, the kind that moves. But here's the thing, none of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're gonna pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.